Hey, Justin here, back, the Renegade Realtor. I wanted to talk about two programs that I think are really important to see. Two of my favorite programs, Reventure Consulting and Stoic Finance. The reason I wanted you to watch them both is that they seem to contradict each other, and I'm really curious to see who's right and who's wrong, and I'd love to know what you think as well. So I'll start with Nick from Reventure Consulting. He is talking about how Redfin has just reported this big implosion in interest from or purchases from big investors, a 46% drop in investment purchases. So, and he's saying they're running scared, they're running out of money. They made a mistake basically, and they know it, and they're trying to back out of the market, and they will continue to back out of the market. And the second one is Max from Stoic Finance, and he's saying something quite different. There's been a lot of press now about how it seems that these big Wall Street investors, he uses BlackRock in particular, he talks about BlackRock in particular, that they are purposefully manipulating the market. They're pumping up prices astronomically, as like we saw in the first half of this 2022. Only to let them pop and then implode, or go into a tailspin, decline, go into a steep decline, and then they will be there to snap up a lot of deals. There is some, in other words, the conspiracy theory here, or the suspicion here, is that they are manipulating the market, which would not be the first time that big investors have played games like that. It's one thing if they do it with gold and silver. It's another thing if they do it with housing, because we need housing. You can step out of the gold and silver market and just be like, well, they're playing their games and they're making millions on that. I can have my normal life. But when it's housing, that affects your life. That affects rank and file. That affects everyone's ability to purchase a home. So that's why I think it's very significant. And I think what Nick is talking about is one possibility, and I think that's probably for the smaller investors. I think he's probably right. For the larger investors, I hate to say it, but I suspect that Max from Stoic is really onto something. It's a heartbreaker to think that people are so low as to want to artificially pump the market and then jump out of the market simultaneously. One of the things he mentions is that as the way that all of these big investors seem to have decided, well, we're not into housing anymore. At the same time, just at the peak, and they created the peak. This is the conspiracy theory, or I don't want to say conspiracy theory. This is the suspicion that they created this bubble and then they backed out just to let the market go into a tailspin, go into a free fall. It seems crazy to buy up a bunch of properties at inflated prices, only to let the market drop and have those properties now be worth a lot less. But the thing I'm trying to get my head around, and I hope we all will, and one of the reasons I do these programs is that we've been, if you're I'm technically a Gen X, right? I've been hearing my entire life how the rich are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer. That wasn't true in the 40s, 50s, and 60s, but it is true now. I don't think it was true in the 40s, but if it was, it wasn't happening at the rate it's happening now, right? Everyone knows that. You've heard it your whole life. And what I think you're seeing now, and what I think Nick is not getting right, is that we are in a new financial space where the rich have so much money that they can throw $1 trillion at the housing market. And, they can risk $1 trillion and they'll buy up all these houses, and then the market will crash and they'll buy up more at fire sale prices. And there's nothing we can do about it. And I think that if big investors are going to play these games, the people like you and me are in a lot of trouble, because this is not a healthy environment for anybody other than these big investors. And when it comes to a shelter, it's I think it's a big deal. It's really something to learn about and to consider when you vote, because this is not looking good if what Max is saying is correct. And I think you should know about it. and I hope he's wrong. I hope Nick is closer to the reality. What Nick from Reventure will say is that the market, in other words, the rank and file home buyer the middle class home buyer will pull the market back down just because these houses are wildly inflated. What is disturbing and what is, I think, new in the world is that these super wealthy investors are doing things that nobody has ever done in the history of investment before. They can play with such enormous sums of money that they can manipulate the entire housing market in the U.S. It seems. I mean, am I sounding crazy, conspiracy theorist? I hope not. But this is what it looks like. And so I put the links to both of these programs below. I'd love to know what you think. Who's right? Who's wrong? Can they both be right? Are they both wrong? I'm leaning toward Max from Stoic, and I'm a bit of a I'm very conservative on these things, and I'm very suspicious of big investors. So we'll see. Let me know what you think. And so this has been Justin, the Renegade Realtor from Coast West Real Estate. Have a great day. Thanks for watching. Bye.